Okay, hi there. I hope my head's actually in this video. My camera is attached to a tree, so I don't want to play around with it too much because it's very delicate. So it's Stephen here from Midlothian Ecotherapy, and I'm doing the third video for week 3 of the Ecotherapy online website videos for health all round. So as you can see, I've picked a location here with loads of trees. It's a really beautiful bit of forest called the South Esk Valley in Gorebridge. So one thing that's really struck me about this place when I moved close by is just the absolute abundance of trees and this incredible energy that you feel everywhere when you're around here. This week, as you probably guessed, the task is going to be to work with trees. This is something you can do when you're on your daily walk. I want you to really pay attention to them. So not just notice them and go by and go, oh, there's a tree. I think, we do that in life because we need to label things. But when we label things, we stop looking more deeply at them and how incredible and what a miracle these things are that just grow out of the ground everywhere across the world and give us oxygen. They're just incredible, and the uniqueness of each one is also, I think, something to really pay attention to, because that's a bit like what we're like as human beings. Each one of us has similar things in common, and we share our humanity, but we're all different and we follow different paths. And what I want you to do, if you go on your walk this week, which I hope you do, if you're allowed to go on your walks and you're not in a high-risk group, please do go out every day and pay attention to trees. They're everywhere. They're even in places you don't expect. Sometimes you're in a city and you feel like there are no trees around you, but when you look more closely, they really are everywhere. And this can be huge trees, small trees, even baby plants that are just starting to grow can be so beautiful. And just look at the way that the branches move and see if you can relate to how the tree's life course is taken. Sometimes I get really curious about trees that have started to grow in a certain way and then they've just changed direction all of a sudden. And I really relate to that because I feel like that's something I did in life. I was going along doing the same thing and all of a sudden I've just changed direction completely. And I think a lot of us relate to that, but sometimes we see things reflected in the way that they've grown or the way their branches hang or the kind of leaves that they have. Do the leaves stick around all winter? Do they lose them and grow them back? And at this time of year, it's a really special time as well, because we're starting to see leaves just arrive. It's like things are just coming alive again, and I think that's a really beautiful thing to remember as we're going through this strange time where we're having to lock ourselves away, to pay attention to the life that's just appearing. We're not the center of the universe here. And I think that's a really beautiful thing to remember. But I do appreciate that a lot of you can't go out and need to stay indoors. So I want you to do this from a window. Just look out and see if you can spot any trees in your view, or even plants, shrubs, anything, and just really pay attention and sit with it for 5-10 minutes. Put all of your focus just on it and just appreciate the uniqueness of this particular tree, shrub, plant even. You might not be able to see anything from your window, and if that's the case, do you have a plant at home that you can work with and sit with every day? And do this for 5 minutes. Just sit with it, clear everything else from your mind and pay attention to this growing living thing that's in front of you. And like I say, if you're doing it on your walks, if you can stop somewhere, you can maybe feel the bark of the tree, pay attention to the textures, the smells of it. There's just so much beauty all around us. And if you're at a point, let's say you're stuck in and you can't even see a tree from your window, you don't have a plant at home, find something. This is a last resort, but do find something online, paintings of trees or tree photography, and sit with it and just pay attention and watch how it grows, how it moves. It's a really beautiful thing, and I think it can take us away from feeling like we're the center of the universe, because we're not. and that's important to remember. So yeah, even do it, and all of you can do this whether you're going out or not. Start even watch when you're watching films. I know you're all watching a lot of rubbish on Netflix at the moment, so just pay attention to how they're everywhere, you know? When you're watching a scene in a film or whatever, just like look out for trees even when you're watching the screen. Sometimes they're a lot more interesting than the things we're watching, actually. That is true, sadly. But that's what we're doing. Every minute, 5 to 10 minutes with trees, absolute focus on them, just appreciating them. So that's this week, week 3. It's Stephen from Midlothian Ecotherapy for health all round. Cheers.